Every single day, you are building a prison. You don't see the bars, you don't see the guards, but you feel the walls closing in. Think back to when you were a child. You were terrible at everything. You couldn't walk, you couldn't talk, you couldn't even feed yourself. But you didn't care. You fell down and you laughed. You mumbled nonsense and you kept trying. You were free. But then something happened. You grew up. You started to succeed at a few things. Maybe you were good at math. Maybe you were funny. Maybe you were athletic. People clapped. They gave you grades. They gave you a label. You are smart. You are talented. And that label became your cage. Now, you are terrified. You are terrified of trying anything new. You are terrified of picking up a guitar, or learning a language, or starting a business. Not because you lack the time, but because you are afraid of being bad at it. You are afraid of looking stupid. You have fallen into the ego trap. You believe that being bad at something is a sign of weakness. I am here to tell you that you are wrong. Being bad at something is not a weakness. It is a weapon. In fact, the ability to be absolutely terrible at something new is the rarest and most dangerous skill you can possess in the modern world. Today, we are going to break you out of that prison. Here are 6 reasons why you must force yourself to be bad at something new right now. Number 1, the spotlight effect. This is the first chain we need to break. There is a glitch in your brain. It is an evolutionary leftover from when we lived in small tribes of 50 people. Back then, if you made a mistake, if you failed while hunting or fell down in front of the chief, it mattered. Everyone saw it. Your status dropped. And in the wild, low status meant death. Your brain still thinks you are in that tribe. When you walk into a gym for the first time or you fumble with a paintbrush, your brain screams, "Danger!" Everyone is watching. Everyone is judging. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect. You feel like you are walking on a stage with a bright light following your every move. But here's the secret. The audience, it doesn't exist. Look around you. Everyone else is obsessed with themselves. They are worrying about their own bills, their own insecurities, their own spotlight. They do not have the energy to care about your failure. When you realize this, you become invisible in the best possible way. You can fail, and the world keeps turning. Practicing being bad at something proves to your primitive brain that failure does not equal death. It desensitizes you to shame. And a man without shame is unstoppable. Number 2, the golden handcuffs of competence. This is the trap of the successful. Maybe you are great at your job. You are the manager, the expert, the senior engineer. You have spent 10 years building a reputation. You are the guy who knows the answers. It feels good. It feels safe. But it is a trap. When you are an expert, your ego hardens. You start to protect your image. You stop taking risks because you have too much to lose. You refuse to ask dumb questions because an expert should already know the answer. You are wearing golden handcuffs. You are comfortable, but you are stuck. By forcing yourself to be a beginner again, by doing something where you are clumsy, slow, and confused, you shatter that image. You remind yourself that your value as a human being is not tied to being the expert. It is humbling. It hurts, but it is necessary. It reconnects you with the state of play. Experts don't play, experts perform, beginners play. And play is where innovation happens. If you want to stay sharp, you have to be willing to look like a fool. Number 3, neural atrophy. Let's talk about the hardware inside your skull. Your brain is an energy-saving machine. It wants to do things on autopilot. When you do things you are good at, your brain is coasting. It is using old, well-worn pathways. It is efficient. It is easy. And it is making you dull. When you are bad at something, your brain is in chaos. It is panicking. It is trying to connect neurons that have never spoken to each other before. This is called neuroplasticity. Think of it like a dark forest. The things you are good at are paved highways. You can drive them with your eyes closed. But learning a new skill, being bad at it, is like hacking through the jungle with a machete. It is exhausting. It is frustrating. You feel stupid. But that feeling of feeling stupid, that is the feeling of your brain growing. That is the physical sensation of intelligence being built. If you are not feeling stupid at least once a week, your brain is dying. It is atrophying. You are becoming rigid. To keep your mind young, flexible, and dangerous, you must feed it chaos. You must feed it the struggle of being bad. Number 4, the identity separation. Most people cannot answer the question, "Who are you?" without listing what they do. I am a doctor. I am a writer. I am a runner. You have merged your identity with your skills. This is fatal, because if you are a runner and you get injured, you don't just lose a hobby, you lose yourself. If you are a smart person and you struggle to learn a new software, you feel like your entire existence is a lie. This is why you quit. You quit because the struggle attacks your ego. When you practice being bad at something unrelated to your career, you create a gap. You learn to separate the I from the action. You can say, "I am terrible at salsa dancing," without thinking, "I am a terrible person." You can say, "I suck at coding," without thinking, "I am stupid." This separation is true power. It makes you bulletproof. When your self-worth is no longer on the table every time you attempt a task, you become fearless. You can take massive risks. You can pivot your life. You can lose everything and start over because you know that what you do is not who you are. Number 5, the zero expectation freedom. There is a heavy burden on your shoulders right now. It is the burden of potential, the burden of expectations. When you do something you are good at, there is pressure to perform. You have to beat your last score. You have to get the promotion. You have to impress. But when you are new, when you are admittedly, openly bad, the pressure vanishes. The bar is on the floor. If you try to paint a portrait and it looks like a potato, who cares? You're a beginner. It's expected. This is a state of flow that most adults haven't felt in decades. It is the freedom of the child. When expectations are zero, every tiny victory feels like a triumph. You painted a potato that looks slightly less like a potato. Amazing. You played 3 chords on the guitar without muting the strings. Incredible. This rewires your reward system. It teaches you to love the process, not the result. In a world obsessed with results, metrics, and likes, the person who loves the process is the one who wins the long game. Being bad allows you to fall in love with the grind again. Number 6, killing the avatar. We all have an avatar in our heads. It is the version of ourselves we broadcast to the world on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. This avatar is polished. It is successful. It has good lighting. It never fails. You spend so much energy maintaining this avatar that you forget to live. You don't post the blurry photo. You don't talk about the project that failed. You hide the messy parts. But the messy parts are where the life is. Forcing yourself to be bad at something is a ritual sacrifice of the avatar. It is a way of saying, "I am human, I am flawed. I am incomplete. When you admit you are struggling, when you show your clumsy first attempts, you become real. And here is the strange thing about human psychology. People don't connect with perfection. Perfection is cold. It is alien. People connect with struggle. They connect with vulnerability. By hiding your weakness, you are isolating yourself. By embracing your incompetence, you become magnetic. You show others that it is okay to start. It is okay to be messy. So, here is your mission. I want you to pick something. Something you have always secretly wanted to do but were afraid of. Maybe it is singing. Maybe it is martial arts. Maybe it is writing poetry. I want you to do it. And I want you to be absolutely horrible at it. Embrace the cringe. Embrace the awkward silence. Embrace the feeling of your ego screaming in protest. That scream, that is the sound of your prison walls crumbling. The goal is not to get good. The goal is to be bad and to realize that you are still standing, that you are still you. Because the man who is willing to be a fool is the only man who can truly become a master. Don't let your potential die in the comfort zone. Step out into the cold. Be a beginner. Be bad. Be free. If you want to know more about the dark psychology of the human mind, subscribe. But do it quietly. We don't want to wake the others.